Our News is brought to you by Alive.
Good evening, Bahamas. Coming up tonight, why a top official is warning Bahamians to remain cautious. What has members of Parliament riled up? Plus, who will be among the first vaccinated in the country? Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Christina Dragovich. Topping news tonight, following 8 days of record low numbers in the Bahamas, a top health official is warning Bahamians to not let their guard down. Jillian Gray reports.
The single-digit positive COVID numbers are very promising, according to Infectious Diseases Director Dr. Nakia Forbes. She warned, though, that Bahamians must be responsible, as this drastic decrease can be reversed if people become too lax.
Lab reported and confirmed numbers are always lower than the number of cases in country. So that means that there are still people with COVID-19 that have mild symptoms that didn't go in to get a test, or that there could be asymptomatic people. And so that should mean that there are still cases of COVID-19 in the community, and there could even be clusters. And all that would be required for it to be transmitted and cases to go up again is not to follow the public health guidance and to have parties, and that's going to cause a spike in cases.
Forbes said the decrease in confirmed and hospitalized cases as well as deaths shows that the curve is flattening. In total, there were 806 new cases of COVID-19 reported in November, a stark drop from the 2,612 cases reported in October. Public health measures should be followed well into next year, though, as Forbes says things won't be normal until people are vaccinated.
The horizon looks better in terms of vaccines becoming available. So that is a good thing, and we're optimistic that things could be better in the future with COVID-19. But the most important thing is, until we're at a point where most persons are vaccinated, that's how we get populations immune, we're still going to have to be following these public health measures for some time into next year.
Well, many residents are breathing a sigh of relief as they say the low COVID-19 numbers not only makes them feel safer, but also more hopeful for the future.
As long as the countries that surround us are responding in a positive mindset as relates to the COVID, I think we should be in a good space come 2021.
I think it's a wonderful thing that it dropped.
COVID, get out! You're not welcome!
Reporting for our news, I'm Jillian Gray.
Thanks, Jillian. Well, members of Parliament clashing in the House of Assembly today over the introduction of a bill seeking to repeal the Oceans Industry Aragonite Mining Encouragement Act. Moments after it was tabled, a shouting match erupted across the floor. Jasmine Brown reports.
The back and forth lasted nearly 30 minutes as members of Parliament argued their points of view. The drama unfolded after Leader of Government Business in the House, Renward Wells, sought to challenge the first reading of the bill, even as protesters in favor of the bill chanted outside of the House of Assembly that it is their time. Inside Parliament, it was Free National Movement MP Frederick McAlpine who sought to introduce the bill in the House of Assembly. But Wells, his parliamentary colleague, said McAlpine did not give the required notice at the last sitting of the House.
I rise to introduce and have read for the first time the following bill. A bill for an act to repeal the Ocean Industry Incorporated Aragonite Mining Encouragement Act, 1971. I so move.
With your leave, Mr. Speaker, we'd like to address the matter so that there's no confusion as to the government's position on this issue. Because we're not going to allow folks to make this a political issue, Mr. Speaker, because the House has already taken this under advisement. The House is already moving with this issue. And so, Mr. Speaker, we're not going to allow, there's a whole slew of people outside waiting.
As Wells pushed for a vote, House Speaker Halson Moutry, however, delivered a swift ruling on the dispute.
The member is entitled to the first reading, and that the bill should be laid on the table and be part of the agenda, and the House can then debate it and dispose of it.
It was that ruling by the Speaker that prompted a shouting match between members on opposing sides.
Honorable members, honorable member for Golden Gates, Honorable Member for Golden Gates and Honorable Member for Angleston. Both of you are shouting across the floor and the Speaker is standing.
Once order was restored, Moutry asked members who were opposed to the first reading of the bill to stand. After a few seconds passed, Wells motioned to several governing members to stand. Several members, including Jeffrey Lloyd, Marvin Dames, and Ellsworth Johnson, stood along with Wells. However, despite an intervention from Wells, the Speaker said he is satisfied that the first reading of the bill was approved. But tempers still flared.
I'm talking to you. I'm talking to you. I don't come to this house. I don't come to this house to take foolishness. I come to do the people's bidding. Okay? The games that are being played in here from the old playbook ain't gonna work. It don't work with me. I'm talking to you. To you.
Reporting for Art News, I'm Jasmine Brown.
Well, environmental concerns over oil drilling are mounting. Jared Higgs tells us politicians, Rastafarians, and activists all agree.
With the company preparing to drill an exploratory well, many Bahamians are standing in opposition to oil drilling in the country. Bahamas Petroleum Company is set to begin drilling its exploratory well in the southern Bahamas before Christmas. But many are expressing concern over the impact drilling can have on the country's environment.
No, man. No way, no shape, no form. So what, we can bring another industry here, which could ruin fisheries, tourism.
The Bahamas National Trust and other environmental groups have opposed the oil drilling initiative. Former Cabinet Minister Brent Simonet says he opposes drilling too and doubts that looking is even worth the risk.
I don't really mind or care how wealthy BPC is, whatever the oil company. If we have an oil spill, no amount of money is going to reinstate our waters.
Bahamas Petroleum Company was given permission by government to drill an exploratory oil well near Andros and close to the Bahamas' sea border with Cuba. It plans to begin drilling before the end of the year. Its CEO defended the decision to drill, saying Bahamians have a right to know if there is oil. But many aren't convinced, like activist Lincoln Bain, who spoke about the importance of the country's fish nurseries and mangroves.
And if it is damaged by an oil spill, we are finished.
From what I understand of the environmental challenges, I couldn't support it.
The minority who do support some oil drilling say that the benefactors of the industry should be Bahamians. But those supporters seem to be few and far between, with concerns for the country's environment top of the list. Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Pakisha Parker Edgecombe, says she knows many of her constituents are worried about the impact on the environment drilling would have. She thinks any decision of that magnitude should belong to the people.
I think we owe it to the Bahamian people to give them both sides, and that at the end of the day, they have to say as to what they want in their country. So yes, a referendum would be something that I think many people would be open to, because the majority would have to speak on this issue with it being such a significant one.
BPC CEO Simon Potter sought to quell those environmental concerns and insisted there is a silent multitude of Bahamians who are in favor of knowing the outcome of our 45 to 60-day fact-finding exercise named Perseverance 1. He added, oil will not actually be produced from this exploratory drilling activity. Once scientific tests establish if oil is present, the well will be permanently sealed. Reporting for Our News, I am Jared Higgs.
And 1 week after Peter Turnquest resigned as Minister of Finance, speculation is mounting over who will take his place. Well, one MP says it's a post he would consider. Berthany McDermott reports.
According to St. Anne's Member of Parliament Brent Simonet, if asked to serve as the next finance minister, he would consider it.
I would consider it, yes. I don't think it's likely that it would happen, so it's not an issue. And the bench is very deep. He can consider a number of people for the position.
Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Finance Peter Turnquest resigned last week following growing calls for him to step down amid allegations that two companies were defrauded of $28 million. Turnquest has denied the claims. On Monday, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis was sworn in as Minister of Finance, but said a substantive appointment would be announced soon.
The Prime Minister has not called me, so it's a non-issue.
Simonet was the first minister in the Minnis-led cabinet to tender his resignation as Minister of Financial Services, Trade and Industry in July 2019. He made it clear at the time that he didn't intend to remain a cabinet minister after his 65th birthday. Earlier this year, Dr. Dwayne Sands resigned as health minister. Add to that 2 FNM MPs who quit the party, with one joining the Progressive Liberal Party. However, Symonette quickly denied that these are signs that the party is weaker.
No, not at all. Sometimes, you've got to, as an MP, you have to weigh whether you were elected as Brent Symonette or as the FNM candidate for St. Anne's. And if you look at various elections in the past, when there has been a wave against the sitting government, those MPs go, and some come. Has nothing to do with their ability.
Symonette made it clear that he has no intention to run in the next general election. Reporting for Our News, I'm Berthany McDermott.
Beautiful skies outside our studio this evening. Here's Greg Thompson in the weather studio. Greg?
Thanks, Christina. I'm meteorologist Greg Thompson with your first look at weather, brought to you tonight by Lactogen Tree, distributed by Lightburn Trading Limited. Crisp evening outside our studios. The breeze is still out there. Mild conditions. Temperatures in the low 70s. Winds out of the northeast at 12 knots. That's allowing our feels-like temperature to be in the upper 60s. Satellite view around the area. We still have that cold front across the southeast Bahamas. Lots of clouds and some isolated showers with that. But behind that, the high-pressure system remains in charge, and that will continue to provide us with nice, cool conditions. That's your first look at weather. Your extended forecast is still to come.
Still to come, a push for rapid testing on Family Island. But first, who can expect to receive the first COVID-19 vaccines in the country? That and more when our news returns.
Just when you thought the year would end drought, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Chill. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.vs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
There are no plans to include rapid antigen test results on the daily COVID-19 dashboard, according to Minister of Health Renward Wells, who also shed more light on who would be among the first to receive vaccines once they become available. Giorgio Bain reports.
With COVID-19 cases down and vaccines just waiting approval, Minister of Health Renward Wells discussing which vaccine could be on its way to the Bahamas, as well as dismissing claims as to why COVID-19 cases are actually down. With COVID-19 cases dropping to single digits for a third straight day, many have questioned the cause for the sudden decrease. Opposition leader Philip Brave Davis is now calling for rapid antigen tests to be included in the daily COVID-19 dashboards released by the Ministry of Health. Visitors staying more than 5 days, returning residents, citizens, and work permit holders are all required to take rapid antigen tests. Davis believes by not including the results of those tests, residents don't have a true picture of what is actually happening.
If you test positive with the rapid antigen test, and we follow up with the RT-PCR test, and you test positive, you're on the board.
According to Wells, rapid antigen tests are still being screened by the Ministry of Health despite not being added to the daily numbers. And with Pfizer, Oxford, and Moderna all having vaccines that are making tremendous strides in the fight against COVID, Wells is narrowing in on which vaccine could be making its way to the Bahamas. He said the government is leaning towards the less expensive vaccines.
My preference would be that we would go with Moderna or maybe Oxford. Well, as minister, I probably shouldn't say that. So wherever we could get it, we could get it. I have a preference. I'd not like to go the expensive route that requires a lot of the cold chain storage and more of a logistics operation.
Healthcare professionals, frontline workers, those in the tourism industry, and older persons remain the priority groups for those who will receive the vaccine first, with 80,000 already paid for.
80,000 doses is what we have initially put the down payment for through the COVAX facility of WHO, but we have the right to purchase vaccines beyond that 80,000 doses from any of the other companies.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
Meanwhile, we're one step closer to the creation of a permanent voter register after a bill was tabled in the House of Assembly by the National Security Minister today.
I beg leave to introduce and have read for the first time a bill for an act to amend the Parliamentary Elections Act.
If passed, those who are already on the current register will not be required to register to vote again. The bill also provides that all voters' cards and counterfoils prepared and issued in connection with the current register will continue to be valid for the permanent register. Biometric voters' cards could also be issued, and registered voters over 65 could vote as special voters in the advance poll. Well, Member of Parliament for the Exumas and Ragged Island, Chester Cooper, is calling on government to implement rapid antigen testing on the Family Islands. He says Family Islanders are finding it increasingly difficult to get PCR tests and results in a timely manner.
In Exuma, it would cost $316 for a poor Bahamian, or wealthy Bahamian for that matter, to get a PCR test. And it takes an inordinate amount of time to get it because you have to send the results to Nassau and wait for the results to come back.
Cooper insists the government's response to COVID-19 is too Nassau-centric, and he believes the Family Islands are being neglected. He said what's even more frustrating is test results take weeks to come out.
It takes a long time for a Family Islander to get the results, Mr. Speaker. In one particular clinic, and I don't come here to speak nonsense, you know, I get my facts before I come. In one particular clinic, an individual who was afforded a free PCR test was unable to use the results because they were not giving her a written result.
A look at the markets is next in the Cable Bahamas Business Solutions Market Minute.
It's now time for tonight's Financial Market Minute, brought to you by Cable Bahamas Business Solutions, the experts for all your business needs. This has been your Financial Market Minute. Cable Bahamas Business Solutions, giving you trusted solutions that work for you and your business. Contact us today.
Coming up, we go behind the scenes of Hennessy artistry. Stay with us.
Just when you thought the air would end drought, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Chair. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.bs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
This is our news. Welcome back. After 7 years of bringing the best in entertainment to our shores, Hennessy Artistry has gone virtual. The event has also taken on a new style this year. Kyle Joaquin has that.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Hennessy Artistry Behind the Artist.
While the COVID-19 pandemic put a damper on plans to have the usual major concert where big names from around the world fly in to put on an incredible show, Hennessy Artistry 2020 has taken on a new format, going digital with a two-part event hosted by yoga and internet sensation Baha Yogi.
You are definitely one of the top radio personalities in the Bahamas right now. How does that make you feel?
It's very unexpected.
Highlighting the multifaceted art world of musicians, DJs, photographers, and painters, Hennessy Artistry is taking viewers behind the scenes with a one-on-one convo with the movers and shakers like Stephen Legend and DJ Ignite.
I swear I remember begging my mom in high school to please let me airbrush my shirt, my shoes, my bag.
The virtual experience gives viewers a light-hearted look into the everyday life of these artists with lively discourse over Hennessy cocktails.
It's crazy. I literally just met you yesterday, and I weirdly feel like I've known you all my life.
Hennessy Artistry Behind the Artist premieres at 8 p.m. on the Facebook and Instagram pages of both Hennessy Bahamas and 700 Wines and Spirits Saturday, December 5th and Sunday, December 6th.
Now make sure you play some dance off for me and my homegirls.
Automatic. Hey, yo, drinks on me. I had to pay for this one, but yeah. Hennessy VSOB automatic.
4-Hour News, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Thanks, Kyle. In sports tonight, a Bahamian coach and player enjoying the start of the college basketball season. Marcellus Hall has more.
All right, thanks, Christina. Welcome to our sports, everybody. I'm Marcellus Hall. Let's check in as college basketball season is underway. We've got a couple of Bahamians involved on the coaching side and on the playing side. Let's start with the coaches as we take a look. Ladies first, where Women's Division I basketball coach Yolette McPhee-McEwen has her team off to a great start. Coach Yo, who hails from Grand Bahama, and her Ole Miss Lady Rebels dismantling McNeese State University 99-44 in their season opener this past Monday. 99 points was the most scored in a season opener in 15 years for the program. Lady Rebs back in action tomorrow when they take on the Kansas Lady Jayhawks. And speaking of great starts, Kai Jones and the Texas Longhorns continue their great play to start the season. 17th ranked Longhorns now 3-0 on the air after running away from the Indiana Hoosiers 66-44 yesterday at the Maui Invitational. The win now puts the Longhorns into the final today against the North Carolina Tar Heels. Jones, who has averaged double figures scoring in the first two games, finished with 4 points on 2-for-2 shooting. He added 5 rebounds and 2 assists. Jones, by the way, has yet to miss a shot all season. All right, so there you have it. We'll give you an update on how Kai Jones and the Longhorns do tonight in the championship game against North Carolina, as well as an update on tonight's football game, if for whatever reason they get this one done. That's your check on sports. Back to you, Christina.
Thanks, Marcellus. A look at weather conditions over the next few days, plus a local chef serving it up for the Bahamas at an international event this week. Stay with us.
Just when you thought the year would end drought, Rev came through with Magic and Holiday Chair. Our cashback will double, making more spirits rise, with chances to spin and with a dope random prize. The rules are quite simple. You can find them online. Just sign up for Trio and pay your Rev bill on time. Our grocery store dash is sure to bring smiles as 16 lucky winners tear through the aisles. Call 601-8992 or visit rev.vs/promotions to find out how you can win with Rev's Field of Magic giveaway. Rev, you and us, together.
Still enjoying this cooler weather? Well, here's Greg back in the weather studio.
Thanks again, Christina. In our second look at weather, we take a look at conditions around the islands satellite-wise. That cold air mass, that Junkanoo weather is still with us. High pressure remains in charge. We have a frontal boundary across the southeast Bahamas that eventually will stall and dissipate. Your next system setting up across Texas, that's the frontal boundary that should be getting here sometime on the weekend. And then, of course, early next week, we expect another frontal boundary. Boating forecast for all areas tonight through tomorrow. Your winds will be out of the northeast to east, 15 to 25 knot seas, 5 to 8 feet over the ocean. High tide will be at 9:03 tonight. Here's a look now at your national forecast. Now a look at your extended forecast through Monday. That's a look at our weather. Have a safe night. Christina.
Local chef Simeon Hall will be representing the Bahamas this weekend at Travel Advisors Selling the Caribbean, an international event showcasing what the region has to offer. Hall teamed up with the Ministry of Tourism for a cultural experience at 11 a.m. Saturday on Arawak Key. He'll be firing up a rock oven to bake bread.
We're just using this as an outlet to educate people about what Bahamian food is, how exciting and amazing it can be. And so we thought to use this venue and this piece of equipment that is totally historical and cultural here in the Bahamas.
Hall explains the significance of the rock oven in Bahamian culture.
Very, very long ago, the Bahamas was definitely a place where food was a center part of community and fellowship long before Columbus. And so 3 rock stove, for example, using an outside 3 rock stove was a part of our cooking practices. And then somebody who was very genius came up with the idea of encapsulating old coral and limestone and putting it together and creating an oven.
Well, that does it for us tonight at our News. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Christina Dragovich. We'll see you right back here tomorrow night. Have a beautiful evening, Bahamas.